Here everyone, you're here on the Empire with me, your resident tech and gaming guy Dave, and this week we're taking a look at a PC release of PlayStation and Bend Studios' Days Gone, which was released earlier in May. Now, if you're not familiar with Days Gone, it was originally released on the PlayStation 4 in April 2019 and tells the story of Deacon St. John, a drifter and member of the fictional Mongrels biker gang, following a zombie-like pandemic outbreak and the breakdown of society globally, but particularly in rural Oregon, United States. Its premise is an open world post apocalyptic survival game featuring bikes, zombies, and various human opponents to face off against as you search for answers around the death of your wife. Over the course of its 60-odd hour campaign, you'll be introduced to various camps as the story unfolds, which operate their own microeconomies of camp credits, which can be earned by performing various missions and spent on what each camp has a supply of, but it basically comes down to bike parts or weaponry. Once you've managed to put a few upgrades under your belt, the game does start to open up nicely. Freakers are billed as the main adversary of the game. They're fairly prolific, being dotted around the map in small clusters and occasionally coming together into a substantial horde. When you're faced with a small group, stealth and melee work quite well together, but when you see a horde, often your best bet is to bug the hell out until you've stocked up on fuel, ammo, and throwables like Molotovs and pipe bombs. As well as freakers, you've also got marauders, a cult called the Rippers, and occasionally aggressive wildlife to contend with to add to all of that. But aside from the occasional bullet sponge, I did find myself sticking to a stealthy approach, using melee takedowns and silenced weapons in most situations. Traversing the map is pretty simple thanks to your bike, which is a constant companion in this game. Bend did a good job of ensuring that the handling and upgrades for the bike were meaningful without being too married to the traditional capabilities of two-wheeled travel. Nitrous and a great deal of off-road activity for a bike that wouldn't see that kind of use simply exist, and that's fine. One thing you quickly learn not to take for granted is fuel, and the importance of knowing where to find it. If you are forced to move around on foot for any period of time, this game is horrifically painful to play. Now, of course, none of this is new in the PC release, and the game is fundamentally identical to its 2019 predecessor. So as well as the positive aspects of the game, it also has its challenges, such as the storyline pacing, a generally samey mission and combat approach, and at times it just can be tough to get into this game. I must admit that I really struggled with it on the PS4 at the time that it was originally released. I couldn't quite find the time to let the story unfold or give it its fair go. But on the PC, I've got to say that I have given it a much greater allocation of my hours. In part, that's probably due to its accessibility for me. I don't have to contend with the TV like my console when I'm playing it on the PC. The upgraded visual effects, Xbox controller and mouse and keyboard support, and an unlocked frame rate are also very welcome additions to the PC port. Now I was running it on a RTX 3060 at 1440p resolution, and I was getting between 65 and 75 frames per second on average throughout most of my playtime. Whilst the game hasn't fundamentally changed, the quality of life improvements are certainly welcome. You'll also get all of the extra content which dropped post-release for the game as a part of the PC offering, including the New Game Plus mode, so if you enjoy the world that Bend Studios has put together here, there is a second playthrough opportunity for you. Now overall, I've enjoyed Days Gone on the PC, and I have definitely put more hours into it than I ever did on the PS4 release. I can't say why for certain, but there's certainly been something therapeutic about blasting through Oregon this time around. The game still has its fair share of challenges, and unless you're looking for this type of itch to be scratched, you may find it difficult to invest time in this game. I'm going to give the PC release of Days Gone a 7.5 out of 10. Whilst the game is identical to its PS4 predecessor, the PC unlocks the graphical potential that this game always had. Bend has seen fit to unlock that, and that means that the PC release for Days Gone is the best version of the game for you to play if you've not already put the time into this one. Now, as always, thanks very much for checking this out on the Empire, home of the NZ Blokes. I have been your resident tech and gaming guy, Dave, and I will see you